Today, we're gonna find out if ChatGPT can convince me why I should move to Winnipeg. This is gonna be a pretty tough sell, just given my most popular video on YouTube, some of you guys may know, is a video I made a while back titled 7 Reasons Why You Shouldn't Move to Winnipeg. And the comment sections were a little bit mixed. A lot of people agreed. A lot of people still believe Boston Pizza or Olive Garden were their favorite restaurants of all time. Maybe I was just a little bit too critical about the city of Winnipeg. Perhaps I moved at a young age and there was something that I could have missed. So with the assistance of artificial intelligence, we're going to determine if Winnipeg is a good option for me down the road. Probably not. But we're still gonna have a little bit of fun with this video. So if you like what you're hearing, give this video a good old smash. And now let's jump onto ChatGPT. Okay, so I just logged on to ChatGPT, and the very first thing we're gonna ask is, can you give me 7 reasons why you should move to Winnipeg? Let's start off with the first one of affordable cost of living. Winnipeg has a relatively low cost of living compared to many major Canadian cities. Housing, transportation, and everyday expenses tend to be more affordable, allowing you to stretch your budget further. So for number 1 of affordable cost of living in Winnipeg, I totally agree. Winnipeg cost of living is significantly a lot less in comparison to Toronto, Vancouver, even Calgary for that matter. So I went to realtor.ca, and this is just based on the homepage that I'm looking at, didn't choose any filters, but you can see in Winnipeg, home here are around 320,000 just on the first page alone, and you get like a full detached home. Like this replicate in Toronto would easily, just anything already detached in Toronto or Vancouver is already looking at $1 million. And if you're in Calgary, I would say the home that you're looking at would be closer to $500,000, whereas in Winnipeg is even less than that, depending on the area that you're looking at. You even have, it looks like a condo or apartment over here at $185,000. And you have some places, see, you can look at some of the nicer home equivalent. At this example, at 79 Field House Way, Winnipeg, Manitoba, $580,000. This is like a brand new detached home for that price point. I want to remind people that there's always a yin to a yang, and although housing prices in Winnipeg is significantly less, there's always going to be something bad. So for one example of this is looking at the weather. Weather out in Winnipeg isn't the greatest. You have about, like, from my experience growing up, close to like 8 months of winter throughout the year. So you might have a nice home, but the weather out there, if you're not a big winter person, it's not to your best interest. Heading back to the original question, at number 2 for reasons why you should move to Winnipeg is a strong job market. Winnipeg has a diverse economy with significant employment opportunities in various sectors, including aerospace, manufacturing, agriculture, technology, and healthcare. The city has a relatively low unemployment rate and offers a range of career prospects. Unfortunately, I can't comment on the aerospace, the manufacturing, agriculture. The only sector that I'm familiar with is with the tech side of it, just because that's the industry that I'm in. And I'll say the pay out in Winnipeg for tech positions were very significantly a lot less in comparison to the major cities. Although you're making less, your dollar really stretches a lot further in Winnipeg. Like as we showed you guys earlier, we have homes going for like $350K in comparison to, maybe in Toronto, you might make an extra 20 to 30K more, a little bit even more, but you're looking at like home prices that are like twice the prices. I'm on Glassdoor right now, and let me just type in information technology position. So just IT, generic IT positions out in Glassdoor. And I want to give you guys kind of perspective of the openings out in Winnipeg out here. So we have it appears to be about 105 postings out in Winnipeg for IT positions. If I were to type in just Toronto, changing the cities up, we have significantly a lot more job searches, 3,000 positions in comparison to Winnipeg's, but Winnipeg have 105 positions. So you can kind of just giving you an example of like the number of opportunities that exist out in Toronto in comparison to Winnipeg. Looking at the third reason why you should move to Winnipeg, we have a rich cultural scene. Winnipeg is known for its vibrant arts and cultural community. The city hosts numerous festivals, including the Winnipeg Folk Festival, the Fringe Theater Festival, and Folklorama, which celebrates the city's multicultural heritage. There is one thing that I have noticed over the years visiting Winnipeg, and I go to this dim sum restaurant, and the more times I go there recently, there's more and more people who are not just Asian people eating there, which is I actually totally love it because I actually love that other people from different backgrounds are coming and trying out dim sum. But growing up, whenever I went there, it was totally I'm just looking at people that looks like me. So interesting enough, according to the 2016 Canadian census, it looks like Winnipeg's, in terms of visible minority, is a 30% of the total population, which I'm pretty sure when I did my Calgary video, this is the same percentage of visible minorities also in Calgary. So I know there's a lot of articles online that suggest that Winnipeg is the most racist city across Canada. And from my own experience, being a visible minority myself and being in a predominantly all whites high school, I will say that throughout my 4 years, I didn't really experience too much racism. I think there was probably like at max 2 or 3 instances that were like, stuff that I actually remember. But I will say that the people who were the racist ones, how do I say this in a political way? They were bums, like blatantly. They weren't really going anywhere in life. They were like the dumbest kid in the classroom. Looking at the 4th reason why you should move to Winnipeg is outdoor recreation. If you enjoy outdoor activities, Winnipeg has much to offer. The city boasts about an extensive park system, including the Cinnabon Park, the Forks, the Cadonan Park, providing opportunities for walking, cycling. Although these activities that they listed are very well true, it's just really tough to agree with this list when you've visited the western part of Canada. Like when you've been to Vancouver and Calgary and you've seen like mountains. If you're ever going to Winnipeg and you're doing the same activities that you're doing out in the west, you're gonna very well notice the big difference and be like, nah, this thing ain't for outdoor recreations. Compared to two, for Winnipeg, we have parks and riverfront, lakes and fishing, cross-country skiing. In comparison to Calgary, you have the Rocky Mountains, national parks, winter sports. I'm going to show you what the Forks looks like out in Winnipeg. This is like a famous destination that even I went to. Looking just from pictures, it's pretty cool. Like I know there's like a brewery out here anymore. I don't really drink, but that's an option. We have skating, it's winter stuff. The water's kind of disgusting. It's the Red River over there. The water's kind of gross. Don't go in there. Looking at the 5th reason why you should move to Winnipeg is it's a person's sports enthusiast haven. Winnipeg has a city passionate about sports. The Winnipeg Jets, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and recently, actually, because ChatGPT, their data is only up to 2021. Winnipeg now has a basketball team called the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Let me search it up for you guys. So realistically, if you're a big hockey person, then they do have an NHL team with the Winnipeg Jets that recently came back to Winnipeg not too long ago. It's in the last decade, give or take. And now you have the Winnipeg Sea Bears, which is kind of like the CFL version of basketball. So for number 5, I guess if you're a fan of hockey, I guess anywhere you live in Canada, if you like hockey, you're good to go. If you're a basketball person, at least there's now a basketball team there. And if you're a football player, then there's options there as well. Looking at the 6th reason why you should move to Winnipeg, we have education and healthcare facilities. Winnipeg is home to several reputable education institutions, including the University of Manitoba, U of M, and the University of Winnipeg. The city has an excellent healthcare facility with a range of hospitals and medical clinics that provide high quality care. I have a mix of opinions about the education out in Winnipeg because there's only realistically, outside of once you graduate out of high school, there's only like 3 viable options. University of Manitoba, which is kind of like the one that most people go to. University of Winnipeg, which has like kind of like smaller classroom, but still great overall. And then you have like Red River College. But other than those 3 options, you're pretty much limited to those 3. Just on a quick observation, I jumped onto Maclean's website on Canada's best university by reputation of this year, and scrolling down of looking at the best overall. Number 1 cleared, no surprise here, we have University of Toronto, and scrolling down, we don't actually see Winnipeg or Manitoba until the 25th. On 25th, we have University of Manitoba, and going down a little bit further, I believe it was on the 35th line, we have University of Winnipeg over there, just to give you some perspective. The real key advantage about education out in Manitoba is it's like significantly cheaper. Significant. Let me just show you. All on University of Manitoba right here. For U1, that's kind of like the first year thing. You're looking at $5,400. Textbook $1,500, $3,800. So your total, just looking at it, is like for the year, $7,700 for the year, which is, it actually has jumped. Because I would say even a decade ago when I was considering, I think we were looking at closer to like $5,000. So it has jumped, but I guarantee you, if you go to like if you go to BC, Ontario, Quebec, prices are going to be even crazier. Last but not least, we have at number 7, a friendly community. Winnipeg is known for its friendly and welcoming community. Manitobans in general are recognized for their warmth and hospitality, making it easier to integrate into the city's social fabric. The city multicultural makeup contributes to a diverse, inclusive community. Okay, I will give credit where credit's due. There are some really friendly people out in Winnipeg. My bestest friends are out in Winnipeg, and it just has to do with that smaller community that exists out in Winnipeg. It's a lot smaller, so even just visiting to your friend's place, it's like less than like a 10-minute drive. Anything more than 10 minutes, you're like, you're too far. I can see how like you can build really strong friendships out in Winnipeg. It's a good thing if you actually build friendships at a young age and everything works well. It's really tough to live in that city. Let's just say you had the total opposite experience. If the way you are is a little bit different in Winnipeg, it's tougher to feel like you belong in that city because there's not as many options. Whereas when you're in the bigger cities, if you have an interest, like let's say you have an interest of, I don't know, clicking lids on a Starbucks cap over here. You know, you're not going to find many people or anyone at all in Winnipeg. But if you're in Toronto, I bet you'll probably find a group. People who are subscribed to my channel know that I'm super blunt and I've had to be completely transparent. Out of these 7 reasons, I'll probably give 2 or max 3 out of 7 that are accurate. One being the affordable cost of living. 100% I totally agree with that one. But the rest of them is kind of like tricky. I just want to throw it out there that just because Winnipeg is not my preference Canadian city to live out there doesn't mean I hate it and that you should never go out there. In fact, I still have some of my closest friends out in Winnipeg, and so I make it a duty to go there on an annual basis. But anyhow, with that said guys, if you guys enjoyed this video of me asking ChatGPT questions about Canadian cities, let me know in the comment section down below. Hit that subscribe button, and I guess see you guys all in the next one. Peace.